All right, the one thing holding police officers accountable is the ability to record them. It was a video that helped convict the officers who killed George Floyd. It was a video to help convict the officer who killed Laquan McDonald. A Santa Ana, California council member says police are now playing loud, copyrighted music to keep videos of them from being posted. Check this out.
Oílo, está poniendo música. Porque él sabe, en mi canal no puedo poner videos con música. ¿Has visto videos donde dicen, oh, no tengo derechos a la música? Neta. No me quieren. Estos no me quieren.
All right, folks, Santa Ana Council member Johnathan Hernandez joins me now. The Santa Ana Police Chief David Valentin also released a statement about the incident. We're going to read that in a second. Well, I'll read that nonsense first. So watch this. Santa Ana Police Department is aware of a video that has surfaced involving one of our officers. We're committed to serving our community, and we understand the concerns as it relates to the video. The Santa Ana Police Department takes seriously all complaints regarding the service provided by the department and the conduct of its employees. Our department is committed to conducting complete, thorough, and objective investigations. My expectation is that all police department employees perform their duties with dignity and respect in the community we are hired to serve. Yeah, okay, that's great. But Councilman, let's just be real here. By them playing the music, what it does is it keeps the videos gets blocked when you post on Instagram because of the copyright management.
That is correct. Yes, it does infringe upon our First Amendment rights. And as an elected official and somebody who grew up in that neighborhood, it's important for me to protect our citizens and to make sure that I do everything I can to protect our First Amendment rights.
You know, I just sit here and again, you watch, what is going on here. And what you have is you have these cops who are clearly playing games. They got together and decided, oh, we know how to stop these videos from going viral. That's exactly what. So what can you do? How can you change this? How can you impact this?
Well, for one, I want to inform the public that you are well within your right to film the police. If it wasn't for those brave community members that recorded the murders of people like George Floyd, if it wasn't for those brave community members that recorded the murder of my cousin, Brandon Lopez, who was killed by Anaheim Police Department in Santa Ana on September 28th of 2021, I was on site that day, but many members of the public recorded. The point that I want to share is you are within your right as an American to film. And in the instance that occurred on April 4th, I was getting ready for bed. It was about 10:45 at night. And what a lot of people don't know is I was already on very high alert at 10:45 at night because prior to this incident that was being filmed, about closer to maybe 10 o'clock, there was 9 officers parked in front of my house, 9 patrol cars. I ended up walking up to the patrol cars and asking if everything was okay. They instructed me that there was an investigation. My street was closed from 7th Street and Rate down to Civic Center. Eventually the cars dispersed, but given the most recent experience I had in losing my family member, I just had a feeling of uncertainty. And as I was getting ready for bed, I heard the Disney music outside. I do have a 12-year-old daughter, so Disney music is pretty common in my household. And I walked out of my household, and to my surprise, the footage speaks for itself. I walked up to this investigation that was now concluded at this point to find these officers playing music to deter members of the public from recording.
Has there been any response from the police union?
No. As far as I am aware, there has not been an official response.
Well, this is certainly quite interesting in terms of how these cops are behaving. Matt Manning, this shows you how pathetic police officers are by trying to stop. Look, if you're not doing anything wrong, guess what? You have no worries about getting videotaped.
I think this
You're
is dastardly.
absolutely right.
Oh,
Matt,
apologize,
yeah,
Councilman.
no,
Go ahead.
Matt, go ahead.
I just think this is dastardly. I think especially with as much as police post on social media now to try to garner support, I think this is obviously very intentional with the intent of keeping it down. And it's interesting because I think it's going to potentially open them to liability in terms of the very obvious intent to infringe upon the First Amendment right. Not only do you have the right to record, but you have the right to disseminate it, right? You have the right to speak. So them taking affirmative steps to try to prevent that, to the councilman's point, I think they may be bringing liability upon themselves. And it's really a sad thing that somebody would intentionally find a way, or at least try to find a way, to keep these recordings off, especially with as often as you hear police say things like, well, we don't have a problem with recording because it shows that we're usually doing the right thing. This is intentional, obviously, and it's dastardly because somebody really thought about a way to keep from the public the doings of this police department. And I think it's just a horrible thing.
But it's par for the course, Kelly, when we see how police in this country do all they can not to be held accountable.
If I may share.
Yeah, Johnathan, go ahead.
My sincerest apologies. I just felt it was important because you mentioned that this is starting to be a practice we're seeing more commonly. And what exactly is the goal of this? What are you trying to hide? What is more sinister about this act is that the officer's body cam was off when I approached. And that's not good practice. It just makes me concerned about what could this have potentially escalated to. And so I have to remind members of the community of my city that we as a city are having a response to these issues of misconduct where other cities have tried to sweep them under the rug. We are looking to introduce an ordinance that will ban this practice, and it should have already been banned by our department. I don't have a response as to why they didn't immediately ban it, but I did my due diligence in introducing this ordinance, which we did over the last meeting that we had, and it'll be finalized, I want to say, by the second meeting of May. But to remind the members of the public, why is accountability so elusive when it comes to police departments? I'll tell you why. There are over 19,495 incorporated cities, towns, and villages in the United States. To date, there are nearly 200 verified oversight commissions in the United States. The need for accountability and change could not be more clear. There were 2 other officers there with this officer. And those 2 other officers were unwilling to stop this behavior. So much so that at nearly 11 o'clock at night, an elected official had to get involved. And mind you, I don't carry a badge and a gun. The only thing I bring with me are people's voices. But in this case here, the public is engaging in oversight for our city because we don't have that yet. But something that I am very proud of is we will have police oversight in the coming months.
Well, that's why, Kelly, I have long maintained if an officer does not turn on or turns off their body camera, that should be a part of the hiring practices, that they would be immediately fired.
Absolutely. It should be in all protocols to make sure that your body camera's on, to make sure that anything that you have to do in order to either apprehend somebody, approach somebody, whatever, like it has to be followed to a T. Otherwise, there should be, serious repercussions for those actions. My issue, on top of everything that the councilman has said, as well as Matthew, is that not only is this a despicable act, it is dangerous for all parties involved. I mean, can you imagine, God forbid something happened to the councilman as he was trying to cross the street to approach the officer, and the officer can't hear what's going on with another citizen because he's trying to cover his own butt in something that he's not supposed to be doing anyway. So this is just bad practice overall. It's not even about, the lack of accountability or trying to evade accountability. You are putting people in harm's way trying to cover your own ass. That is an issue. And if you have officers on your force who would rather cover their ass than cover the person, protect the person, to protect and serve, then you have a problem with not only yourself as an officer, but the entire department if they do not, reprimand such behavior and change the policy so something like this won't happen again. You have an issue from the root of this tree, not just one bad apple.
Well, and that's exactly what we're seeing. And I think if we have more council members like Johnathan, Michael, we will see something happen. You have to change those contracts, and city councils have that authority.
Yes, and this is an example of why elections have consequences. Roland and Councilmember Hernandez, thanks for coming on, sharing this information with us. This is one of the reasons why elections have consequences, because, as you said, the police union's contract, right? That's usually, oftentimes in many municipalities, controlled by the city council. Okay, and what the city agrees to is the city council that votes on the police union's contract. I just had a quick question for Councilmember Hernandez. Any idea how long this practice has been going on? One, and two, have there been any incidences where you've had shootings or robberies or something like that where the body cam footage is tampered with because of this copywritten music being played?
Thank you. That's a great question. Number one is I'm going to start first with the question of, is this something that we have seen in Santa Ana? This is my first time as a policymaker and as a community member seeing this practice firsthand. I've seen it on the internet. To be honest, I really didn't understand what was happening. I saw the Always Film the Police, Mr. Checkpoint, had posted a video some time back, and it was, I believe, a Beverly Hills officer playing Sublime Santeria, and I also saw one of an officer playing Taylor Swift, and I didn't really understand what the goal of these officers, what were they trying to accomplish, because it's such high level knowledge that you would have to have a strong understanding of IPs and computer technology and copyright infringement, that your common citizen, I mean, even your common public servant, isn't going to be up to speed as to what this practice is really about. And it's very sinister because we're trying to build bridges with communities that have been disenfranchised and marginalized through police violence. And this is the response that we're getting. And what's ironic to me is the demographic of the community that I live in. It's a very Latino community, and this officer was using two films used to bridge to the Latinx community, utilizing Encanto and Coco to now silence them. So irony at its finest. It's childish, it's despicable, and as a policymaker, right, I could never stand for it. And to answer your other question, I have done some research, and I have found that there have been multiple instances across this country where police have been utilizing this tactic. However, I have not seen any local body of government do anything about it. So I wanted us to be at the forefront of making sure that we stick to the demands of the people and fight for accountability and transparency.
Matt, final question.
I just wanted to actually say something regarding the oversight committees. I think one of the big issues, and Councilman, please elucidate us if I'm wrong, with those oversight committees across the country is they usually don't have any teeth. So you have a group of citizens that get to look at a police shooting or a police incident, but they don't actually get to recommend anything that would have any teeth or any kind of consequence on the police department. So my question would be, in Santa Ana, how are y'all considering giving that oversight committee some actual teeth so there can be a measurable consequence if officers do something like this?
Yeah, that's a phenomenal question. For starters, I have been part of the police oversight committee that helped create what will then become the actual policy we adopt. And I've been on this committee since last year, and it has been a journey where we've met with members of the community. We met with experts of POBAR, Police Officer Bill of Rights. We've even met with law enforcement to create a model of oversight that we felt was going to be the strongest. Our goal is to have one of the strongest and ethical oversight commissions in the country. And in the city of Santa Ana, what we are proposing is to have a commission with subpoena power, investigatory power, and the ability to hire and fire police chiefs. We are also making it very clear, as evidenced in the video, law enforcement have been investigating themselves, and they're not willing to step in and correct themselves. So something that's very important to members of our community is having a oversight board that excludes law enforcement for that very reason. In the city of Santa Ana, since 2016 to today, we have had over 207 civilian filed complaints against officers. Only 6 have resolved in favor of civilians. So clearly, police overseeing themselves is not working. In addition to that, our commission, I will be fighting for these commissions to be justice impacted friendly, so that members that have been through the justice system, members that know the difference between an officer doing his job correctly and an officer abusing his power, that members of these communities that have experienced injustice firsthand can have an opportunity to also serve on these commissions. I am a true believer that change starts at the bottom, and I have been impacted by police violence myself, but I didn't let that take the hope that I have away from my heart and from how I serve my community. And for anybody who thinks that my fight for accountability and justice is anti-police, I want to remind them that they're wrong. To be bold in the face of injustice isn't to be anti-anything. That's what the people deserve. I am not going to blindly serve a political party or a ideal, set of rules that, a political party says is important. What I am going to do is always meet people where they're at and fight for the disenfranchised and marginalized. And in Santa Ana, unfortunately, we have a lot of fighting to do.
All right, Councilman, we surely appreciate it. Thank you so very much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, fam, Patrol Grooming, that's right, is a men's grooming company that delivers on this promise every day to men everywhere. Everything we do, every product we make is designed to help you to present your best self. It's a promise they've kept since 1991 when they first introduced the Bump Patrol brand, the #1 men's product for smooth, bump-free shave and silky skin. Millions of customers count on their exceptional skincare products, which can be found at more than 30,000 retail stores in more than 50 countries around the world. Now you can have exceptional beard and skincare products that are as unique as you are. Fellas, as we prepare to head back out into the world as COVID restrictions are being lifted, it's time to get our groove back. So visit www.patrolgrooming.com to order Patrol Grooming Box and use the discount code #Roland30, that's #Roland30 for a 30% discount at checkout. Folks, be sure to support those that support Roland Martin Unfiltered. That includes Patrol Grooming. Folks, Black Star Network is here.
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?